This episode is brought to you by Paramount Plus. If you don't already subscribe to Paramount Plus, please use our affiliate link by going to talkthroughmedia.com/Paramount Plus. Using our affiliate link gives us a little credit, which helps us to keep bringing you great content. U.S. residents only.
Welcome to episode 69 of the Star Trek Discovery podcast. I'm Brian.
And I'm Ruthie.
And we're back.
And did that episode number make anyone else go,
Yes,
like
actually
you're
it did.
A 12-year-old boy?
Yes, it did, but I didn't want to say it.
That's okay. I'll say it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Anyway, we will be covering season 4, episode 8 of Star Trek Discovery, titled All In. But before we get started, we want to remind you that we provide early access to a virtually uncensored version of the podcast. And oh boy, is this ever going to be virtually uncensored this week? Because I'm literally going to record it, take the noise out, shorten it, and send it out. So this is going to be like as close to what the original is as possible. Because if you didn't know, well, we talked about it last week, I'm in the middle of moving. And my moving schedule got pushed back a week. So I'm still in Florida right now. But in the middle of packing and whatnot. So, and we'll see. Does the episode get out earlier? Because I won't be editing this week. So anyway, probably will be. But anyway, so Patreon listeners are going to get this virtually uncensored and probably very fast this week because I'm not going to do much to it. And if you want to get that, you can go to patreon.com/Brian and Ruthie to sign up. And as little as $1 a month, you get access. So before we get into this week's episode, we have some feedback from the mid-season finale, season 4, episode 7, titled But to Connect. So let's open hailing frequencies. All right, so first we have some errata.
Incorrect.
Pretty simple errata, but I was listening to it while I was editing, and it was something that was unedited. Was a copy and paste error from the previous episode. I got the writers wrong. It was written by Terry Hughes Burton and Carlos Cisco, not Ann Cofell Saunders and Carlos Cisco. So, small error, but I wanted to correct it because I'm always sensitive to writing credits. So, anyway. And we unfortunately missed feedback from our sister podcast host, Kim, from the Star Trek Prodigy on Rebinge It, or whatever, whatever they call it. But anyway, it's part of Talk Through Media. Kim left some feedback, and somehow we missed it. So, Ruthie, do you want to go through her feedback?
All righty. All right. Miss Kim says she gives this rating, she rates this episode 9 out of 10 sentient ships. She says, loved this episode. Easily my favorite of the season. The discussion with the ship about her new emotions and skills and her subconscious reminded me of Measure of a Man. We even paused it in my house and debated how we felt about the kill switch. And I've been waiting for the reason that Book and Michael would break apart, and it finally came. Very good episode. Dig it. Yeses. Finally giving Gray a purpose. Also, I really feel like the president is using Michael. She's part Cardassian, and if there's one thing I've learned from watching DS9, Cardassians need a scapegoat. That's
Yes,
funny.
that's very accurate. Yeah, you can't get rid of that Cardassian in her.
Ha. Yep. All right. Nose. I don't understand why nobody talks about the fact that we don't know that this thing is a weapon. It could just be a mistake. Like, for example, Discovery may have created it by accident when they came through time. Or those Trill scientists who are playing around with artificial wormholes could have accidentally created it. I don't understand why we didn't discuss it more from that point of view. I have to agree with this, and I think I mean, it's been a little bit since we recorded that episode, but I think I talked about this a little bit. It's like they only have two options that it could be, and I also didn't really like it.
Yeah. I remember, it was like option B or option A and option B, and
Nothing else.
Yeah, and I didn't like that either. So
yeah, it seemed a tad ridiculous. Like with this whole great universe at their disposal, and one of the I don't know, yeah, it could only be a weapon. Like what? I don't get that.
I agree.
All right, hold your horses. Earth needs to get their crap together.
Plain and to the point.
Yep, I also agree with that. They do.
Next is we got feedback from, actually just came in today, Mike from Cleveland. He says as follows. He gives this episode 10 out of 10. Holy cow, now even Star Trek is doing the multiverse thing. Discovery has really gotten back on track with these last 4 episodes. I'm not a big fan of how easily Cleveland Booker was convinced to betray Michael, but as I'm sure Ruthie remembers from Star Trek Discovery book Wonderlands, I say this with my tongue firmly in my cheek. Booker has never been a true believer in the Federation or its stated values. So, with that book knowledge, I can accept Booker's actions. Plus, this clearly marks the end of the on-air romance of Michael and Booker. How it is Commander Stamets is the only reasonable person on this self-aware supercomputer issue. Anthony Rapp acted his butt off in this episode. He completely stole the show this episode. I'm excited for the second half of the season and once again have full confidence in the show's direction. Good.
All right. Ken from Chicago, I believe, is responding to us and the last episode that we released. He says, Brian was oh so close to right. USS equals United Spaceship. Earth, Vulcan, Andor, and Tellar formed a United Space Federation, and this was a ship that served that government. If Star Trek Discovery clarified job positions, then we'd know Book's job on the ship versus guessing. Why didn't Stamets and Tarka just repeat the experiment after the energy draining rescue? No worries about seeing my tweets late. Hashtag good things come. Thumbs up and Spock emoji.
Well, thanks, Ken, for understanding.
Yeah, better late than never. I wish the Prez revealed she kept turning to Burnham for help because after hundreds of years of isolation during the burn, Fed diplomats were rusty at negotiating with folk with different POVs. Why does the captain have to stay with the ship? She was still stored in a buffer. Why was Gray running through the ship instead of using comms or site-to-site beaming? And he's got a hand on chin thinking or wondering emoji. I don't know what that emoji is called. I agree. Book's dad was there to rile him up to be a man, take action, fight back, etc. And it looks like a mad face emoji. I keep thinking Kovich is Section 31, and that's why he's so good at everything, in quotes. Thumbs up, Spock emoji. And then there's a little video.
Yeah, we had thought of that at one point.
And then there's a little video GIF of Kovich, and it says, "You're not wrong." Oh my goodness, that's funny. I forgot to mention there were there was a cat gif uh, below underneath the good things come. All right, next. I agree that Burnham has grown to delegate, and responsibilities of command has led her to sometimes not do what she wants. She defers to 31st century scientists on the DMA, to her mom going after the warrior nun, letting the prisoners stay and die on a doomed planet, etc. And then there's a gif of Burnham saying, I had to. Finally, he says, Captain Kirk got away with murder, breaking the Prime Directive, enforcing his will in the Wild West days of the Federation. Captain Picard was more of conciliatory and diplomatic in a more civilized time. Captain Burnham started as more Kirk and grown to be more Picard. And then there is a gif of Ellen Pompeo saying, it has been an amazing journey.
Are we going to get all Grey's Anatomy in here?
I mean, that's the only one. That's the only gift so far from that. But anything, that is everything from January the 9th, which I believe is everything since the last time that we didn't see his stuff.
Yeah. And I checked it out like the last time the post on Facebook went out was January 12th. So he must have been just responding to episode 6, the previous episode. So
yeah.
It
kind of sounded like it too. I was like, oh, we weren't really talking about. Anyway, thanks, Ken. Sorry, we're sometimes late and forget about Twitter because, it's Twitter.
Well, we remembered this time because we're early on the feedback, or we're early recording this week. So we don't have as much feedback. So we're going to look. So,
yeah. And then before we move away from Twitter, I just want to say we got a tweet from Jeff Gentry, X-Force 11, who was replying to Anson Mount, who just dropped key art. Key art just dropped is what he says on February 1st for Strange New Worlds. It says new series streaming May 5th. Woohoo. And Jeff said, amazing art. I know my friends at Star Trek TTM are ready to cover this series. We love you as Pike. Thanks, Jeff. We are ready, and we do.
Yep. We may be dead by then, but
yes.
Yeah.
This is going to be a crazy schedule.
Ruthie and I will be podcasting a lot between tonight and July. Because it's pretty much
it's gonna be murder.
Yeah, it's pretty much all in until just like the episode title.
Wah, wah.
Yeah, we're pretty much going all way through, and there's several weeks there where we're going to be doubling it up. So and then of course me moving. So that could end up turning into a very complicated move, but
yeah. Good times.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's move on to this week's episode. Season 4, episode 8, as I already just said, All In. Written by co-producer Sean Cochran. And I've never seen this before, within Star Trek anyway. Directed by 2 directors. So I'd really like to know what the story is there. Christopher J. Byrne and Jen McGowan. So I don't know if they did a rewrite or if there was a COVID thing or what happened there. But 2 directors. So the description from ParamountPlus.com is as follows. Following a hunch, Captain Burnham tracks Book to an old haunt from their courier days and gets drawn into a high-stakes competition for a powerful weapon. We don't know the star date. The air date was, as we always say, 11:06 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on February the 9th, 2022. In other words, everywhere else, February the 10th. The runtime was 52 minutes and 2 seconds. All right, Ruthie, what did you think of All In? out of 10?
I only watched the episode a single time, but I don't know. I think I liked it, but then there were things that I'm not sure I liked. So I would probably need more than just this one viewing to really tell. But for now, I'm going to give it an 8.5.
Okay.
Going rogue.
Going rogue. I liked it. It was like you, I couldn't tell how much I liked it. I'm tentatively giving it a 9, and the reason for it, I did watch it more than once, but I didn't watch it twice. So in other words, I watched it about 1.5 times. I didn't get through all the way through the second watch. So I'm going to give it 9.0 32nd century Michael Buffer imitators.
Oh, that's funny. Let's get ready to rumble.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, he even had the same kind of microphone as Michael Buffer.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Definitely a throwback microphone, not something you'd see in the 32nd
It's
century.
retro.
Yeah, very retro. All right, we got a couple of listener ratings. Ruthie, why don't you start?
All right. Andy in the Midwest says 9.5 changeling tribbles out of 10.
Wes from Minnesota says, I thought this episode was really good, but not great. I give this episode 8 MMA rounds with OO out of 10.
Don't you mean, oh, wow?
Oh, wow. Yeah, exactly. All right. So let's move on to our yeses.
Yes!
Andy in the Midwest, he says, my first yes is OO. This is the best writing she has had in the entire series. I would agree with that. I'll stop right there and say I would agree with that.
Me too.
Yeah. She was real. It showed a great relationship between her and Michael. She has great instincts. She fit in naturally and proved herself to be a very adept officer. She deserves her own command in the future. More of this, please. Yeah. I got to say, she was great in this episode, and it's finally good to see her get a significant part in an episode. I thought, what's her name? Not Joanne. That's her character's name. I can't think of the actress's name. Anyway, she was really good in this episode, and it's taken a long time for them to get to
Oyen Oladejo.
And I'm sure we butchered that, but
Well, I'm pretty sure I got Oyen right, though.
Oyen, yeah.
But your last name, no.
Oladejo.
Maybe.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, so she was great, and I think that it was a long time coming, but as you can see, she was ready to take it on. And I remember hearing that she was almost like ready to give up acting when she landed the role on Discovery. And it's a good thing. I'm glad that she kept it going because, she's really good. And I look forward to seeing more of her on the show in more meaty parts. Anyway, he says, he continues, he says, I also enjoyed the poker game and seeing Michael really lean into the persona she was portraying. Yeah, I like that too. I got a kick out of the two of them kind of teaming together in a card game like that.
Yeah, that was funny. Well, I guess I'm all talk. That was funny. Although I have to say, at first I was like, what is happening? Why would they ever work together? And then I was like, oh, they're just trying to run those other two off.
Yeah. Which
that happened to me a lot this episode. I think I just wasn't on my game.
What? That you weren't following what they were doing, you mean?
Well, I mean, that's sort of. I wasn't. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to explain. Like when they were doing so with the poker game, I was like, why are they doing this? Why would they ever work together? They're not going to share the isolinium. And then I realized later, oh, they're just trying to run off those other two. Same thing happened with the fight. I was like, I don't understand the point of this. Why are they even like, I guess Burnham was acting really well because then I figured out, oh, it's a hustle. That's what I meant.
Gotcha.
Make sense?
Yeah. 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 Both situations, you would think that they would have caught on, and the fighters did catch on, but it was too late by then. So
they did, which I also didn't really understand why they wouldn't have caught on sooner, but maybe they just weren't really good fighters. They're just all brute strength.
Yep.
Really good fighters usually can tell if someone is holding back, I think. But anyway.
Yeah.
Enough about that.
Especially, I want a rematch. I want a rematch. It's like, well, why do you want a rematch? We've been, beating the crap out of you.
Yeah, that was kind of dumb.
All right, that's it for Andy. Next,
we've got Wes from Minnesota who says, the casino scenes remind me of James Bond, especially with the poker scene. It's a shame no one asked for a martini, shaken, not stirred. Or a martini, and do you want that shaken or stirred? Do I look like I give a damn? That was Daniel Craig's James Bond. Thank you very much. I did cheer on Owo kicking that guy down. I want to buy that poker set. Come on, Viacom CBS. It is a fantastic product tie-in, in my opinion. Yeah, that deck of cards was pretty cool. I guess they were playing a version of Texas Hold'em. I don't know. Yeah. I am not the poker expert, ladies and gentlemen, so
neither am I.
I don't really like poker that much, to be honest. Sometimes my friends want to get together and play, and I'm like, why? It's been a while, though, since I've had any friends who wanted to play poker. Or maybe they just quit asking me, which is fine with me. I thought it was dumb. Oh, man. I don't know. I'm just not a gambler. I don't gamble money that way. And I'm like, what is the point of this? Anyway.
Yeah. All right. That's it. That's all we got from our listeners this week. So, Ruthie, what do you have for yeses this week?
I laughed out loud when the President Rillick was like, okay, how did you have no idea this was coming?
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, I like that whole scene with Rillick. Because she brought up those two questions, and the second one went in right into the first, and yes, it was funny.
Yep, that was funny. Maybe it's because I've been watching a lot of RuPaul's Drag Race, but when oh my gosh, I cannot remember his name right now. Why am I blanking on his name? What is Stamets's hub's name?
Oh, Hugh.
When Hugh is like, sometimes it just needs a little zhuzh. I about died laughing. Or as they say on Drag Race, I gagged. It's funny. That show is fun sometimes. Most of the time. Sometimes not. Anyway. And then he yells at the bot.
Yes.
And then when they leave, the bot comes back out and starts cleaning again. That was hilarious and very well done.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I see you. That's funny. So I guess they still have nervous cleaning in the 30-second or technically 20-something, whatever that Hugh is from. Kolber, that's his last name.
Kolber.
I kept trying to think of his last name. I was like, why can I not come up with this word? And I was thinking Wilson, Kolber, Wilson something, Wilson, blah, blah, blah. Of course, Wilson Cruz is the actor's name, but I couldn't come up with that in the moment either. So I'm having a bit of a delayed reaction night because my brain is starting to shut down. Anyway, I really liked the little reveal at the end. I put nice, worth it with the tracker.
Oh yeah. I thought that was good. I had more to say about that whole thing, but I did like the tracker. So what else?
Oh, they were finally using the sphere data. I was like, oh, did we just now remember that we had that? Or anyway.
Yeah. About time. And what were they called? The Stimf or something like that? Stilf?
Stilf, STILPH, I think.
Yeah, Stilf. STILPH, according to Memory Alpha.
Stilf.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm surprised I remembered something that you didn't.
Well,
I'm virtually patting myself on the back right now.
I am having to deal with a lot right now. So.
All right, fine. Take away my prize.
No. I'm not going to take away your prize. I'm just saying. I might, as McCoy would say, I might not be firing on all thrusters.
I might not be firing on all cylinders tonight.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's all I really got so far.
Okay. We mentioned 3 of mine, so I'm gonna just stick to the last 2. I liked Vance, how he kind of comes over to Burnham and, gives her a mission, and he kind of uses the same page as Rillick would do. And he also makes it a mission and makes it so that it's if she gets in trouble, it's on him. So, she's not going to be held out there responsible for it. It was his doing that she pursued him. So I thought that was good. And he also, realized that really the only one to be able to catch Book would be Burnham, and he's right. And of course, Saru realized that as well. So I'm not sure why Rillick didn't realize it, but then again, she's not from Starfleet. So yeah, I liked Vance in this episode. Of course, Vance wasn't in the last episode, which you had to wonder why. But anyway, I also like the fake sea monster. So,
yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, because you're thinking that you're getting into, it's like, oh, gee, some big sea monster is going to attack them, and it's just basically a cloaking, device or something.
I actually didn't think that. I don't know exactly. I was not expecting hologram or cloak or whatever. I was thinking, oh, they have to fly into the sea monster, and the sea monster, inside the sea monster is the, this gambling barge or whatever. And then I realized, I was like, oh, obviously it is a camouflage cloak thing. I don't know why I thought it was inside the sea monster at first.
I did too for a second. I thought we were gonna,
like a split second.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be inside the beast. Oh, the beast is fake.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
good times.
All right, so let's move on to our nose.
No.
Andy in the Midwest says, my only real no is that it seems difficult to believe that Michael and Book can ever come back from this. I have to agree with this. But according to the Ready Room, they both have a lot of mutual respect of their ability to hold on to their convictions. And apparently, when they both are completely 100% butting heads, they're like, oh, now I have more respect for you. I also don't understand that, because I'm like, if someone takes a stance that is completely polar opposite of me, I'm not sure that I would have the ability to have more respect for them because they are sticking to their convictions. It's like an OU fan and a Texas fan trying to be in a relationship. It just won't work well during football season.
Now that's funny. Are both schools going switching conferences?
Yep.
So they gotta keep that rivalry going. That's funny.
Oh yeah, it's the rivalry that will never die.
Yeah.
People talk about their schools' rivalries being the whatever. It's not. It's OU Texas. It's been the Red River Raid for like, I don't know, 100 years now or something. So anyway.
The only one that I can relate to in that regard is Michigan, Ohio State. But
yeah, that's another one. There are a lot of rivalries in college football.
Yeah.
Well, in college sports, generally speaking. So.
Yeah. All right. He has one more.
Yes, one more. Also, the early scene with the president dressing down Michael and Vance was uncomfortable, but only because I've been in situations where I've done my best, but things still went wrong and had to take my lumps. I agree.
I've been there.
I'm sorry that I couldn't predict the future. I mean, I don't know what else to say in a situation like that.
Yeah. Wes from Minnesota, he's got no. Actually, looks like there's more than one no here, although it's grouped as a single no. Those two other poker players, they rage quit like they have lost a video game online with their friends. Yeah,
funny,
I didn't think that they were, you know, and of course the bad eye makeup that they had, you know, the black, like, I don't know if that was supposed to indicate that they were from a different species, or were they just bad,
dirty?
Yeah, bad earthlings. I don't know.
I don't know either, but that is funny. I think what ended up happening, I mean, aside from the rage quitting, was they were losing their shirts.
Yeah.
And once you run out of Latinum, you're out of the game. So there you go.
Yep. The shuttle Oo and Burnham used was too much Orville-like. I will just say that that's not the first time we've seen a shuttle like that. Like, Tilly was in one, and we had seen them in season 3. So, although they weren't as prominent, but we have seen them a couple of times. And yes, I will agree, they are kind of Orville-like. So, and I'm just going to ask this question now. I noticed in the notes you have Texas spelled with an extra S. Is that intentional?
Of course it's intentional,
Brian. I knew it.
That's how I spell Texas.
All right.
I'm sorry if there's anyone from the beautiful, wonderful state of Texas. Know that I make fun of you with love.
Yeah. And
I hate your football team.
and this is for the editor, Kyle, who I think is editing this episode. Please leave this in. All right, Ruthie, what do you have for no's this week?
Oh my gosh. I don't. Oh, I just found another yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I love the eye roll that Michael gives about the name of the barge, the Karma barge.
Yeah.
Oh, it was funny. That was kind of hilarious. That look. That was funny. I don't know that I have any no's. I have some hold your horses. I don't know. I don't know that I would say that this is a no, but I mean, I just don't really like Tarka.
Yeah. I get that.
I can't really call that a no.
Yeah.
He's just such an arrogant prick.
He is.
But the actor is doing such a good job of portraying him as an arrogant prick.
He is. I would agree with that too.
So I can't really say that's a no.
Yeah.
Aside from the fact that I just don't like him.
And it's funny because the more that I see him on this show, the more that I remember his character from the little that I saw on The Expanse. I remember, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this guy, and just makes me want to finally get back and watch The Expanse. And I'll probably do that if there's
So
ever if there's ever a break in Star Trek this year,
good.
or at least us covering it. So, like when Prodigy comes back, maybe I'll start watching it. I don't know. Okay. Well, I had three no's, and first one is I don't buy Burnham's surprise that Book and Tarka came to the plan together. I mean, if you think about it, she knew Booker broke laws to save transworms, and he even brings this up, you know, um, in the dialogue. He brings this up to say, like, how can you not know this? And that's my take on it. Like, she had this like look of total surprise, and you know, how could she not know? That's kind of my point. Is that I thought that was a little. I don't really believe that. You know, emotionally compromised, not thinking clearly, yes, but I think that she should have been able to see this as a possibility that he could have done this. So
Yeah. I think though that sometimes when you because okay, so she met him at a time when she was isolated and
right,
alone and didn't have anybody else to rely on
yeah,
and had to maybe do a lot of things, maybe compromise herself a little bit, or
yeah,
maybe not compromise herself, but do things that she may not have done in normal circumstances.
I would agree.
And then she slowly had to come back to the fold. I think what happened was the Starfleet slash Federation fold is what I mean.
I know.
I think getting back into the chain of command, not just doing things by yourself, all that kind of stuff, all that stuff.
Right.
And we've slowly seen her doing that. I think what happened was she was doing that and assuming that he was too,
Right.
and he was not.
He wasn't. Yeah.
So I think thus the surprise. Not that she's surprised that he would do such a thing, but surprised that he wasn't going with her, I guess, on her journey.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if that's true, but that's kind of the feeling that I got. Like,
yeah.
oh.
I mean, maybe she thought that he was drinking the Federation Kool-Aid more than he was.
Yeah, maybe that too. And maybe she thought that he was also doing these things in like sort of a survival mode type of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have any other choice because and now he does have other alternatives. In other words, Starfleet and the Federation, et cetera, et cetera. And so she doesn't understand why he would still be resorting to these sorts of tactics, I guess.
Yeah.
That's my take on it, I think.
Yeah.
Sort of. It's like they were doing the same things for different reasons. And her reasons for doing those things disappeared. His did not.
Yeah. All right. My second no is I think it was like kind of how Rilek kind of mentioned it in a way, but she said there was a question about like, why couldn't you bring him to, to justice or whatever? And Burnham says, well, we put a tracker on the isolinium so we know where he is. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, that's really good and that, but it's like, why couldn't they have just taken them in and stopped them and get the prototype back? Because if you think about it, who is the mastermind here? It's Tarka. Well, Tarka's not going to be able to fight his way out of a fight. Like, basically you punch him in the face once and he's basically done with, you know? So I think it would, even without any kind of weapons, I think that they would have been able to restrain and arrest Tarka. And then, of course, I think, given that, I think Booker would have come, because he didn't have Tarka to do it. Because without Tarka, he's got no way of going forward with it. So I don't know. That was a small but not insignificant weak point in the plot in this episode.
I think like Admiral Vance basically sticks up for her about this at the end, saying they're way outside of jurisdiction.
Right.
They didn't have any backup. How exactly is she going to accomplish this? And I mean, I kind of would have to agree with that, because we don't know what kind of, I mean, she seemed friendly enough with Haz, but how far does that friendliness go?
Well, and
like arresting people on his barge, friendly? Or
we know that Haz did not want a bunch of Federation types in, poking around. He said that pretty clearly. So it was one thing to have Burnham there, but it would be another thing to have, a couple of starships there. And I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
And so in that instance, how exactly would she accomplish such a thing by herself? I mean, that's kind of risky, because she didn't know if Haz would, basically turn on her and it would just go from bad to worse. And I think that this sort of seemed like the safer bet, like the more, not to make another poker pun, but not, a more sure thing, I suppose, is what I would say. So
yeah. Last, no, and this could be a hold your horses as well. How could they not know? And when I say that, I'm talking about Vance and Burnham. I think that they should have been able to pick up on the clues that this is something that could happen, knowing that, well, for one, they know that Tarka's got the prototype, spore drive, and that Booker's, pretty desperate to see them come to justice, or see them, be stopped. And at the same time, it makes me wonder, why they would not see that. So, but like I say, that's like a borderline no, and hold your horses.
Hand wave. Look over there.
Yeah. Yep. All right.
Yep.
Okay, so let's move on to our hold your horses.
Hello, this is Captain Tilly. What the hell? What the hell? Hold your horses.
We miss you, Tilly.
Mm-hmm.
We miss you.
Yeah.
All right. Andy in the Midwest, he has a few here. He says, would Armus really be known well enough to be name dropped like that? Especially 900 years after it killed Yar? Maybe. It just seemed odd to me. Well, I noticed, what was his name? Haz? Is it Haz?
Yeah.
He was a name dropper, or a metaphor like guy in general. He had a lot of those.
He did. Virtue.
Yeah. Next, he says, it was fun to see a changeling, but it just left me with questions that will probably never be answered. Why was the changeling committing petty crimes? Yeah, I wondered that myself, actually. I guess the Dominion is, on hard times.
Is fun upon hard times.
Yeah. Was this changeling from the Great Link, or is it one of the babies that was sent out who hasn't found its way home yet? That's possible.
Don't know.
What is going on with the changelings in the Gamma Quadrant at this time? Well, I think that is a good question that right now we don't know. So,
And you're probably right. We probably won't ever get these answers.
Yeah.
I wanted to know why this changeling also had a hard time doing faces.
well, but the funny thing is, though, the changeling had a human face. When the changeling, briefly changed there,
Mhm.
changeling had a human face, and it resorted back into that smooth changeling face like Odo.
Right.
I
But Odo always said he had a hard time doing faces, and that's why he looked like that.
Yeah, it seems like they've
So they forgot that he said that he ever said that. And they just, whenever they show a changeling, that's what they look like now.
Yeah,
It's kind of irritating,
a little bit.
but whatever.
All right, what do you have for Hold Your Horses?
I have Wes from Minnesota who says, "Hold your horses. The pacing of the episode seemed to drag a bit. However, what I felt was not good enough was more Colmets. The scene between the two was great." I agree. I liked the little droplet that we got, but I don't know if I would say I necessarily wanted more because you can't always just throw someone in just for the sake of it. Like, what would be the point? He's not counseling anyone, just kind of like, let's not make them useless like certain other cast members have been.
Yeah.
Or characters, I should say, not the cast members, the characters. That's what I have to say about that, Wes. I don't know. It was good though. I liked it.
You got anything for Hold Your Horses?
I do.
Okay.
So I don't like Tarka. This is no surprise.
Yeah.
This is not a Hold Your Horses moment. But I don't. He is such an egotistical bastard.
Yeah.
Comparing loss is always stupid. It can't be done because it's always so personal. But Tarka's ego is so huge that he can't understand that. He can't even fathom that anyone else could possibly understand loss the way that he does. Like, get over yourself, dude.
Yeah.
It's never a good idea to start comparing who's had it worse or playing the who's had it worse game.
Yeah.
Because there's no comparing. It's not even like comparing apples to oranges. It's like comparing two people from a completely different planet or something. I don't even know what it's like. It's so ridiculously stupid to even try. But he doesn't care.
Yep.
He's a butthead. That's what I have to say about that. I don't like him. Oh my gosh.
What else you got?
I still don't understand why Book is doing this. I don't understand why he thinks he's right. Why I just don't get it. I don't understand why he can't possibly understand that he could be about to make things a billion times worse. And it's just so incredibly short-sighted to me that all he can think about is I don't even know what he's thinking when he's thinking these things. Yeah. And I don't understand why he's blindly following Tarka when it's clear. I mean, when he said he didn't have the isolinium, he should have given up right then and been like, man, bro, I thought you had a plan. You clearly don't. I'm out.
Yeah.
But nope. Instead, I know where we can get some.
Yeah.
Sad puppy.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. There are a lot of things about this that I don't understand.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you would think that all sorts of warning lights would have, gone off.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
warning flags like danger, danger.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think in the case of Booker, he's just, he's grieving too much. He's so, it's like they've said, he's got such an emotional core that he can't think straight, which I don't know. I don't really see they play that up. It's like one of those things where they say he's so emotional, but it's like, well, I don't really see him being that emotional. you know?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't either, but I think that they are saying that the the core of himself is so much more emotional. I guess he feels more deeply than everybody else does or something, which I also don't really understand. I'm like, how can you another thing that you can't really compare, like how can you say one person feels something more than another person? You don't know that.
Right. Exactly.
But and I don't understand how he can be so incredibly short-sighted
Yeah.
and just not trust Michael at all. Like he sees doing nothing as a risk, but he doesn't see what he's doing as a risk, which makes no sense to me. I'm just like, do you not hear yourself? I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. I just don't get it. Like, you could potentially, like I said, make things so much worse, but for some reason, that risk is okay
Yeah.
because all he can think about is stopping this thing that he doesn't understand,
Yes.
which is what Stamets and Colbert were talking about. It's basically he's reacting out of fear to the unknown, and I would have hoped that people in the 32nd century would have evolved past that a little bit, but apparently not.
Apparently not.
So anyway, I think that's all I've got, really.
Well, I'm surprised that the changeling wasn't trying to buy the isolinium. That would have been a more, I don't know, appropriate thing to see someone of their species try to do, trying to wipe out the solids. But
yeah.
but if the changelings are, down on their luck, like I kind of said before, then maybe so. Maybe they gotta do some petty crimes before they can afford that isolinium. So
who knows?
Yeah. Obviously, Burnham must have read through a lot of Federation to get them up to speed on a lot of things. Like, changelings weren't a thing in the 23rd century. So she wouldn't have even known what a changeling was, although that was more Book and Tarka, but still.
Yeah. Maybe she Matrix downloaded stuff into her brain. I don't know.
Yeah, that's it. It comes to that. It's like, you get these 930 year displaced people that are somehow, up to speed on everything.
Yeah.
And I try not to think about that too much, but
right.
it's just there.
It does boggle the mind a bit. Like, I would be so behind on pop culture, man.
Yeah.
I would not know what to do with myself. I would be making 930-year-old pop culture references and no one around me would get it.
Yeah.
And I would feel sad.
Yeah. Be like, you're used to the harpsichord and instead you're getting electronica.
Like, ooh, check out those ankles.
Oh yeah, sexy ankles. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That kind of a thing. But whatever. I guess we'll just once again suspend disbelief and assume that they have some way of magically learning. It's not magic if it's just advanced tech. All the things that have happened that they missed.
Well, I mean,
oh my gosh.
Scotty, the thing that I always think of is Scotty had some issues, getting back up to speed when he was on Next Gen. And that's only like, what, 75 years? So how is it that these people were able to advance 930?
I don't know.
And this is where
it's such a giant time jump that it's almost ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's nearly 1,000 years. I mean, that's like the difference between enlightenment in the Dark Ages.
Yeah. It's one of those things. It's like, we just have to hand wave it at this point, because it is a thing.
Because it's there.
And if you're going to buy the series, you've got to buy that. So, I buy it, but it just once in a while, there'll be things like this that remind me, oh yeah, they weren't around at this time. So
yeah, they should be walking around clueless literally all of the time.
Yeah.
But they're not.
Yeah.
Which really would make it nearly impossible to function, I would think, because everything that is out of date.
Yeah. Yeah.
By a lot. And we've talked about this before, about the difference in 1,000 years technology from now to 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, and like this kind of suggests a parabolic curve, so that like it's kind of like the technology starts low, and then there's like a swing of maybe 200 years where the technology like really advances very steeply, and then it kind of levels off again. And if you buy that, then okay, maybe that's okay, but I don't know. Again,
it's hard.
I don't want. Yeah, it's like I love the show. I don't want to think about it too much in that regard, because if I think about it too much, it will ruin my feelings about the show. So it's just like, okay, this is accepted. You have to go with it. I accept it, but just don't remind me of it all the time. Has Mazzaro. I don't know. I was trying to think of like, who does this character remind me of? And it wasn't so much how he acted, but what the makeup looked like. And I kept going back to The Mask, Jim Carrey in The Mask. And I don't know if it reminds anyone else of The Mask or if it reminded me of something else, but I couldn't place it. So it ended up on The Mask. If there was some other character somewhere or some other species somewhere in Star Trek that looked like this, or even Star Wars looked like this, I don't know. But he looked familiar.
I think for me, it was more the way he was talking.
Right. Yeah.
Not acting or looking, but the way he was, his speaking mannerisms, not just his voice.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
But I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. The last thing I was going to bring up is I seem to remember Troy having a similar discussion that Culber had with Stamets about, missing something that someone did, managing the psychological and emotional stability of her crew and kind of like beating herself up over it. And I couldn't remember specifically what episode that might have been from. It might have been something Worf did.
I don't know.
Yeah. But I just had a vague recollection of some scene in one of the TNG episodes that was similar in tone to Culber, and she probably was talking to Riker or Crusher about it. I don't remember who it was, but it was probably one of those two people. So anyway, that's all I have. And with that, let's move on to our feedback section and open hailing frequencies again. All right, we got one voicemail this week, and keeping that streak alive, it's Jeff X-Force 11.
Woohoo!
Well, hello, Star Trek fans. It's Jeff X-Force 11 leaving my feedback about the most recent episode of Discovery. And it's nice to be back from break, but I felt like This may have not been the best episode to come back from break. They might have not known when they were coming back, and this might not have been the best episode because it was more character driven and more in people's minds than action driven. And that's okay. It definitely moves the story along and it gives us some insight. I'm just not sure that this was the best episode to come back on because I felt like you really needed to watch the episode but to connect before this one all in. But I'm happy Discovery's back and I'm excited to see what they do next. All right, X-Force is out.
Well, thank you so much, Jeff. X-Force 11. Keeping that streak alive. I always have to say that.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. I have to say, I kind of agree with Jeff a little bit.
I do too.
I'm not sure that this was the wowza that you may have needed.
Yeah.
When you coming back from a hiatus.
Well,
but
I wonder if they were planning on having a hiatus at all. Like, if this was.
I wonder that too.
Yeah, because I believe.
They haven't had a hiatus in a while.
Yeah, I believe, Jeff, that you may be correct. This may have been COVID related. And as a result, we don't know. We don't know why they did it, but we can assume that they did it for a reason. It could have been,
we just don't know what that reason was.
It could have been rolling out of the Paramount Plus, to other markets, because we have that 3 episode coming up. 3 episodes are going to be coming out at the same time, so maybe that's when they're planning to roll out Paramount Plus to other markets. We just don't know. So
they could have been adjusting their schedules to get all of the Star Trek stuff aligned. In a way that they wanted, which I don't really know why they're doing the way that they're doing it.
Yeah.
But nobody asked me.
Nobody asked me. Nobody asked us podcasters. Well, do you think covering a show that usually costs you a 3-hour recorded podcast, doing 2 of those a week, is that something you'd like to do? It's like, well, yes, we would love to cover it, but, if we had...
We also like to sleep.
Yes. If we were making, all the tea in China, and had all the money that we could, send this off to editors and, and this episode is sponsored by whatever. We don't have that. You hear the Paramount Plus, but we don't get a lot from that. In fact, we're lucky maybe to get 1 or 2 people sign up to that in a season. So we're not exactly, it costs money. We don't make back from Patreon and everything else. It still costs some money out of pocket. So anyway, that's
all that to say, it's a lot of hard work. It's a labor of love.
Yeah, it is.
But it would be nice to not have them back to back like that.
I know. Yeah. Okay, so Jeff, thank you so much. We have some additional feedback that I put in here from Andy in the Midwest. He just says, "Good morning, Brian and Ruthie. I got up at 4 a.m. so that I could watch this episode and give you feedback." Okay, that's only partially true. I didn't set my alarm, just happened to wake up and realize I had time to watch the new episode before work, so I got up. Glad I did. I enjoyed this episode. Time to go get ready for work. Looking forward to hearing everyone else's thoughts on this episode. Well, thank you, Andy, in the Midwest.
Awesome.
We appreciate you getting, you were the first person to get your feedback in this week. And we appreciate that. And, we had to move the episode recording up because of moving. So, and and back next week because of moving. So anyway, thank you. And
Thanks for being so dedicated.
yeah, and for those of you that don't listen to the end, you're going to have extra time to get in your feedback next week. So just don't wait till the end. Just get it in when you can. But anyway, that's all we have for feedback for this week. And I don't have any other notes. Do you have any other notes?
Let me see here. I'm glad that it seems like at least that they have figured out the motivations of the unknown species 10C and
Yes.
confirmed that they weren't being intentionally hostile. And that what Book and Tarka are doing could potentially be catastrophically bad.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yes. The what did they say now? They said it was boronite, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm glad that you brought that up because we hadn't covered that yet. So what are they doing? Why are they mining? And why do they need such a big thing to mine boronite like that?
Powering their Dyson sphere.
Yeah, it seems that way.
Or whatever. The only other thing I have to say is, while I really, really, really enjoyed OO on this mission, I think it would have been a perfect mission for Tilly to go on. Oh well.
Yeah, although, I'm glad that we got to see, one of the other crewmates that, we've seen a lot of Tilly, and I wouldn't object to seeing more Tilly. I'm just saying, like, I would like to see more Detmer, more Reese, more what's his name, Bryce, and Nielsen, and basically see those characters that are on the bridge. And
is it Nielsen or Nilsson?
It's probably Nilsson. Yeah.
The way it's spelled, it looks like it should be pronounced Nilsson.
Yeah, there's no E. That's just, bad Canadian pronunciation. So sometimes my Canadian English comes out. So
I didn't realize that was a Canadian English thing.
Yeah. Anything else?
I don't think so.
I am kind of, since you brought it up, and like I said, I'm really glad that you brought it up. I do wonder what that first contact is going to be. And of course, it's complicated by Book and Tarka, and will they be able to intercept them before they do something really bad? So it was kind of surprising that they met up so quickly. I would have thought it would have been a cat and mouse chase that would have lasted a few, oh, you just missed him, kind of thing through a couple of episodes. And maybe that's what's going to happen now, like, through like episodes 9 and 10 or something like that. I don't know. But I was kind of surprised that they would face each other so quickly right after last week. So we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if Tarka dies before he does what he wants to do. And I really want to understand this grief that, like, is the grief the same grief that he experienced, when he was talking about this going to this universe? Like, was it something else or what? Like, I don't know. It seems like it's something that was hinted at, I think, by Sarek in season 1. He mentioned something about, like, people that they had to keep the mirror universe, top secret or whatever, classified, because it could mean that people who lost someone in the Prime universe might be tempted to go back into the mirror universe to be with their loved ones. And perhaps in the case of Tarka, that's what he's doing. But, it's not the same, right? It's not the same. Like I said, it doesn't change. Moving into a different universe doesn't change the person that you are. You've already experienced those things. So it doesn't change you. It may, and you just being there may change the universe. So anyway, things that I brought up last week. Or not last week, but last episode. All right, so let's move into the references section. And a lot of these that I came up with, I directly came up with through What Culture. The What Culture, I think it's whatculture.com. They have a YouTube channel, really good one. Recommend. They're doing a subscribe drive, so take them up on that and subscribe to their channel. They do they do several Star Trek videos pretty much in a month, I think. But whenever there's a new episode of any of the new Star Trek, they cover it. And part of it they call what is it? The Cetacean Observations, something like that. So anyway, I did borrow from them. So Eisenberg class, that was brought up right away by Vance. That's, of course, reference to Aaron Eisenberg. And, of course, one of the ships in the Eisenberg class is the USS Nog. We see Ferengi tending bar at the barge, which, of course, is... And working the tables, again, makes sense. Kind of a DS9 reference. Tarka picks up a Devore scanner. That is Devore. That's technology from the Voyager episode, season 5, episode 10, Counterpoint. There's also, he mentions a Neeser cage. That's Scotty's companion from the 2009 Star Trek movie. If you remember that little guy he had like goggles on him, he's a Neeser. So of course we see Changeling. That's of course it's an obvious thing, but that's Odo's species from DS9, Leaders of Dominion. That's probably the most obvious thing. Garrick used something in one of the episodes of DS9 to stop Odo from being able to change. So maybe Tarka used something similar here. It could have been a DS9 reference. We hear Armus being referenced by Haz Mazzaro, which was kind of surprising. It's like, well, how the hell do you know Armus? But Armus is, of course, and Armus was actually referenced in, I believe it was in the season of Lower Decks. Anyway, because they were that was really funny when they were like making fun of Armus. Anyway, that is the episode TNG season 1 episode 23, Skin of Evil, and that is the episode where Armus kills Lieutenant Tasha Yar. So it was kind of a terrible episode. And it's an ugly, sludge-like, mud slick kind of creature that, or should I say oil slick kind of creature that very unsettling. Anyway, of course, we see the Changeling morph into Tribbles, and I have listed all the Tribbles episodes. I'm not going to recite them, but they've been mentioned or shown in TOS, TAS, the movies, TNG, DS9, the Enterprise, sorry. Discovery, specifically Lorca had Tribbles. We've seen them in 2 short treks and Lower Decks. So we've had them a lot. So only Picard, I guess, and maybe Voyager we hadn't seen them at all. So Okay, so that is it for our Spot the References section. And now we're going to go into Shipwide announcements. And we had an episode of The Ready Room coming back for the first time in several weeks because Discovery's back. I didn't get to see it, but I know Ruthie did. So, Ruthie, what was on that episode?
They had the two guests were Sonequa Martin Green and David Ajala. They talked a lot about their two characters being polar opposites. And I know I joked and said it was like OU Texas fans, but really it's more than that. It's like, to me anyway, it's like having people who have two completely not just opposite, but opposing ideologies trying to be in a relationship. That's how it seemed to me. But they were talking about it like, oh, they just respect each other more because of their strong convictions. And I'm like, I respect someone who has convictions that aren't crazy. I'm just kidding. I mean, no, I don't think everybody has to agree with me, but I do feel like I don't think I could ever be okay with someone being that opposed to something that I believe in that strongly. So,
yeah, I would agree with that. It's a long way to go, you know.
Yeah. They talked about and this is literally the only reason I remember her name, that her first name was Oyen, because Sonequa talked about her and the fighting scenes and all that kind of stuff. I can't remember if she had, they've got those little like blurbs and interview, like little where they're like behind the scenes with the cast kind of a thing. I can't remember if Oyen was there or if it was just Sonequa and David Ajala talking. I don't know. But of course, they had a little sneak preview scene. They talked about the fight scene. They talked about the barge and how the barge was a repurposed space station that they turned into the barge.
Oh, okay.
That set. So anyway, it was pretty good.
Cool.
And they had a little quiz about the name of the guy who owned / ran / whatever the Karma barge, and one of the options was Baz Luhrmann, and another one was Zarathustra. And I was like, "What? Why would anyone ever think that those two are possibly that guy's name?" But anyway. I remembered his name anyhow, so it wasn't hard for me to guess the correct answer. And if you've listened to us, then you also know the correct answer. So
yeah. And did they say what the next episode title is? Because I don't know it.
Maybe.
Okay. Well,
I can't remember.
If we know it, it'll be in the episode notes on the blog post. So we'll see.
Yeah, can't remember. Sorry.
Well, in the last 5 weeks that we've been off, there's been a lot of Star Trek news, so I'm going to just try to plow through it as fast as I can. Biggest news is renewal news. First of all, Discovery's been renewed for a 10-episode season 5. That's less episodes than any other season. The last two have been 13. Season 2 was 14, and season 1 was 15. If you recall, seasons 1 and 2 were supposed to be 13, and I think that they are bringing it down to 10 because, there's so many other series on now. Having them all 10 episodes makes them fit quite nicely. So I think that's why they're. It's not that they're like reducing Discovery, but they're just bringing it in line with the rest of them. It marks the first time a Star Trek season has gotten a 5th season since Voyager, so that's good. Star Trek Picard returns on March 3rd. That is something that we kind of talked about, and Amazon Prime those of you that have been watching Picard on Amazon Prime, outside of the US and Canada, rest assured you are not going to lose Picard or have to get it on Amazon, Paramount Plus or whatever. It's going to stay on Amazon Prime for season 2 anyway. And it returns on March 3rd. Amazon Prime will have it on March 4th. Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Oh, I should also say it's not listed here, but season 3 has also been, it's been renewed for season 3 officially as well. And it's being shot right now, season 3. Strange New Worlds will premiere on May 5th. And season 2 has also been, it's been renewed for season 2 as well. And they're coming back, I think, is it in March? They're coming back soon anyway for season 2 of Strange New Worlds. So if not, they've already come back. And Lower Decks will get a season 3 premiere in the summer, probably around the time that it's been coming back. It's been coming back in August every year. It's been renewed for a 4th season already. So again, we've got a lot of renewals. And of course, Prodigy, we know that it's a 2-season commitment, and there's another 10 episodes as part of the first season. So like the first season is, I guess there's going to be another 2 episodes of 5 or two packs of 5. I don't know. We'll see. Or is it going to be 10 episodes? We don't know. But it's a 20 episode first season and possibly 10 or 20 episode second season. I don't know. But anyway, that's what we know about renewals. Australia had been shut out of Prodigy's 6th through 10th episodes for some reason. A fan on Twitter asked about Paramount Plus Australia, and they will be receiving them on February 11th. So at the time that we are talking about this, and considering that it's February 11th in Australia right now, they probably already have it. But I don't know why they didn't get it, but they didn't. So
I don't know. Paramount Plus is screwy.
And that's the funny thing. Paramount Plus has been in Australia for a while now. Like they actually own a network in CBS owns a network in Australia. So Channel 9, I think they call it. But anyway, and if I got that wrong, Australia listeners, you can tell me. Phase 2 of the Star Trek universe is starting to take shape. Paramount Plus executives say that the franchise has not yet hit critical mass. They said to expect more news about the still gestating Section 31 series soon. And with that in mind, and I kind of changed some of this writing because I kind of dispute some of it. Deadline Hollywood reported late on February 1st that work on a Starfleet Academy series is in the works. It's not a go. So it was miscorrectly reported that it was a go. No, it's not a go. It's just like, insiders tell us that this is in the works. So it's not official at this point. I mean, the Section 31 show isn't official either, for that matter, but it's more of a known thing because they've talked about it, but it's not, officially, started. So, but anyway, Absentia co-creator Gaia Violo is currently working on a take for the project. Starfleet Academy is believed to be next in the Star Trek development pipeline behind the Section 31 series. It will be pitched to Paramount Plus. See, that's why I say it's not official. It's being pitched to that it's not there yet. And the hope is to get it going in the next year. So that doesn't mean it's a go. I put this in, but it means that it could be greenlighted soon. and that we'll probably get word of a Section 31 official, announcement soon as well. So for 2023 is probably when we'll see it actually come out. Production on season 2 of Strange New Worlds was apparently underway, as I kind of said earlier, when Paramount Plus held their aspect of the winter press tour for the Television Critics Association. Some aspects of the series were revealed, including one that had been speculated on since Star Trek Day. Christina Chong's character of Lan Noonien Singh is indeed related to Khan Noonien Singh, according to executive producer Akiva Goldsman. The producers also stated that there is a story that was pitched by most of the show's cast, and they are going to do it. However, it was unclear if it was for season 1 or 2. Now, that's interesting. Pitched by most of the show's cast. So they must have all kind of got together and, hey, let's do a musical. I don't know.
What?
Okay, not a musical, but let's do a sitcom. No, I don't know, but probably could be interesting. So you don't see that kind of thing too often. So I'm curious. Simon and Schuster announced a new audio drama titled No Man's Land. It is set between seasons 1 and 2 of Picard. The audio drama will star Jerry Ryan as Seven of Nine and Michelle Hurd as Rafi Musiker. The voice cast will also include Fred Tachiatori. I don't know if I got his name right. Shax in Lower Decks. The audio drama will be released February 21st. So not too long from now. In a Star Trek Discovery group on Facebook. In other words, not ours. Wilson Cruz responded to a thread there about fans' dissatisfaction with the mid-season hiatus of the series. He reported that season 4 will have 13 episodes. This is the first confirmation as to how many episodes there are for season 4. Alex Kurtzman, not Michelle Paradise, revealed previously how many episodes there would be. Okay. And this officially means that there will be a 3-week overlap between Discovery and Picard in March. And it was also revealed through various means that there is this 3-episode overlap. So on March 3rd, March 10th, and March 17th, there will be Star Trek Discovery and Picard. And then on May 5th, there will be Star Trek Picard and Strange New Worlds at the same time. So that's why Ruthie and I will be going crazy those weeks. So thank goodness I will be, well, I shouldn't say I'll be done my move. I may not be done my move by then. Anyway, Discovery has been nominated for Best Special Makeup Effects on Television by the Makeup Artists and Hair Stylists Guild. So that's good. Could have been named before. Joy Zapata, hairstylist for TNG. Generations and Nemesis will also receive a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Makeup and Hair Stylists Guild. And they are giving their inaugural chair award to Discovery's Doug Jones. So I'm not sure what the chair award is, but Discovery has also been nominated for its 4th straight year for a GLAAD Media Award for outstanding drama. Series was previously nominated. Every season's been on, and it won for season 3. Other nominees this season are 911 Lone Star, Batwoman, is that the Chi or the Key? I don't know. CHI. Doom Patrol, Good Trouble, Grey's Anatomy, The L Word, Generation Q, Pose, and Supergirl.
Could be the Chai, but
it could be the Chai. Fathom Events and Turner Classic Movies will do a special limited run of the 4K Ultra HD Director's Edition of The Wrath of Khan in celebration of the film's 40th anniversary. It will be in select theaters across the U.S. September 4th, 5th, and 8th.
Interesting.
Playmates Toys has unveiled its 2022 action figures and toys. They regained the license after a nearly 2-decade absence, even though they made toys based upon the first Kelvin timeline film. The toys they unveiled were action figures based upon Star Trek II, Discovery, TOS, and TNG. I saw some of those, not in person, but I saw some of those and they look cool. Of course, and you won't see it, listeners, but just picking it up here, Ruthie, of course, remembers. If I can get him unstuck here, he always sits on my desk. Low Cutie. It is a Locutus Playmates figure that I've had since they came out. So.
Such an unfortunate company name.
Yes. The motion picture sound editors announced nominees for the 69th annual MPSE Golden Reel Awards. The awards celebrate the work of the world's most talented sound artists and their contributions to the past year. And Star Trek Discovery picked up 3 nominations, all for the episode Kobayashi Maru. Discovery was nominated for 1 in 2021. Lower Decks was nominated for a Golden Reel for the season 2 premiere, Strange Energies. The ceremony will be held on March 13th. The team behind the Motion Picture Director's Edition 4K Ultra HD restoration revealed more details of how their work is progressing. They made note of the fact they are using new color tech and adding additional elements they had originally planned to do in 2001 when they made the original Director's Edition. So that's cool. Speaking of that, Douglas Trumbull, who helped finish the original visual effects for the motion picture in 1979, just I think it was this week, died at the age of 79. He was hired after the original effects house Abel and Associates couldn't complete the work in time. His contributions to the film included the famous Enterprise running lights, accomplished through flashing a light through a set of dental mirrors, and the memory wall sequence, the scenes where Spock finds out about V'ger and attempted to do a mind meld. The producers of Picard will honor him with a ship, the name of a ship in season 3. That's cool. David Gerald, the writer of the original series episode The Trouble with Tribbles, among others, and the animated sequel More Tribbles, More Troubles, has won the Robert Heinlein 2022 Robert Heinlein Award. The award is bestowed for outstanding published works in science fiction and technical writings that inspire the human exploration of space. He won it for his body of work, which includes Star Trek. He will receive the award during the opening ceremonies of Balticon 56 in Baltimore on May 26th. The Orville Season 3 has been delayed again. It was originally going to be coming back on March 10th, but it has been delayed. So the Orville New Horizons will now premiere June 2nd. So basically right in the middle of Strange New Worlds. So lastly, and just wanted to say thank you to Wes Huntington for collecting all of those news stories. I didn't do any of them, so that was all him. Parrot Analytics, Discovery is not in the top 10 digital originals. And let's see, Cobra Kai was there for, the last week of January, and then, actually skips a week for some reason. Anyway, The Mandalorian was first last week, and the Book of Boba Fett. So a 1-2, yeah, was 1, 2 in digital originals. So Cobra Kai 3rd. So, and hopefully with Discovery coming back, it'll make the top 10, but we'll see. All right. So that's it for this episode. Ruthie, why don't you take us on out and tell people how to contact us, especially next week, because our recording deadline will change yet again. So.
All right. Due to Brian's moving schedule, next week's podcast recording will be delayed a couple of extra days. So you will have plenty of time to get in your feedback for this episode as well as next week's episode. Our deadline for that is going to be for season 4, episode 9 is going to be Sunday, February 20th at 7 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Central. Of course, always subject to change. To submit that feedback, go to talkthroughmedia.com/feedback, where you can submit text or audio. You can call us at 216-232-6146 and leave a voicemail. You can email us Star Trek Discovery at talkthroughmedia.com. You can post in our designated episode thread in our Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/Star Trek TTM podcasts. If you would like to support the podcast, you can like our page on Facebook, which is facebook.com/talkthroughmedia. And while you're there, write a review. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Star Trek TTM. You can share us on Facebook and retweet us on Twitter, especially when we post that the new episode is out. You can subscribe to the Talk Through Media YouTube channel, which is where you'll find our newest episodes first. Subscribe to us in Apple Podcasts or the podcast client of your choice. And while you're there, give us a rating or review. Go to podchaser.com where you can rate and review the podcast and even individual episodes. Finally, the best way to help us keep the lights on here at Talk Through Media is to support us via Patreon. And we would like to check our Patreon supporters: James Robbins, Clint McCullum, Brian Shiro, Michael Carrier, Jeff Gentry, Robert Kaiser, Mike, Trey, Will, Morning Pace, Kim Vogley, Lawrence Todd, Kyle McAdams, and Kevin Lyle. Welcome back.
All of our podcasts from the Talk Through Media network can be found on the Talk Through Media all-inclusive feed, which in addition to this episode or this podcast that you're listening to, the Star Trek Discovery podcast, you also get Rebinge DS9, the Star Trek Picard cast, which you get anyway because it's on this feed, the Star Trek Lower Decks podcast, and the Walking Dead talk through, and of course the Star Trek Prodigy podcast by Rebinge It. So Kyle and LT will be continuing the Walking Dead talk through. I am going to be stepping back because, let's face it, I can't do it. I'm not even going to try. You may hear me, a little bit here and there, but I'm just not going to be involved pretty much this half of the season anyway. It's too much. So anyway. But they'll be continuing with that. That show returns on February 20th. So not this week, but next week there'll be an episode of the Walking Dead Talk Through. So our next episode of the Star Trek Discovery podcast, again, it'll probably be a little later in the week than this one will come out. But season 4, episode 9, we don't know the title of it, who's written it, who's directed it, or a description, but it's probably got to do with something about the DMA. We know that. So until next time, I'm Brian.
And I'm Ruthie.
And it's good to be back. Peace and long life.
Live long and prosper.